This is episode 551, The Exhausting Drain of Feeling Responsible for Everyone You Love with Jessica. Welcome to Life Coaching with Christine Hassler, a space where truth and love come together to guide you back to your truest self. Hi, I'm Christine, a master coach, author, and spiritual psychologist. For over 20 years, I've supported people through the deep work of letting go, waking up, and coming home to who they truly are. Each week, you'll hear an unedited, unscripted coaching session with someone moving through a challenge or block in their life. These are tender and powerful conversations where deep healing happens in real time. Even though I'm coaching someone else, you will hear yourself in their story. This is a place where you will feel seen and supported and walk away with insight, emotional relief, and tools you can apply in your own life. Let's dive into today's session. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. As always, I'm so happy to have you here. If you're new to the show, every week I air a unscripted, unproduced, raw coaching episode from one of our listeners. And even if the title or the specific question doesn't apply to you, 99% of the time, you will find something in the show that resonates with you, or you forward it to someone that you know and love because you know it will resonate with them. And I've been doing this show for almost 12 years now. And I'm just so grateful for the vulnerability and the depth that we go to. And it just reminds me over and over and over again that even though we're unique in our individual experience, we're so similar in our human experience. And let's face it, sometimes the human experience can be really challenging. There can be times where we just feel like nothing's going our way, or maybe things are going our way, but we don't feel like we thought we would, or we're not living into the life that we know we could be. We just can't get over something. We're in a transition. And if any of that applies to you and you're really feeling like you could use some one-on-one support, I've opened up more room on my calendar for one-on-one coaching. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can go to christinehassler.com/coaching, read about my process and style, and really feel into if that's an investment you want to make in yourself at this time. I love one-on-one coaching work so much. It's how I began my career, and it's something I will always do. So again, if you're interested in that, head over to christinehassler.com/coaching. Our episode today is with Jessica, who's dealing with a lot of change and loss in her own life and is feeling the responsibility of caring for her mother, and is really at the point where she is face to face with the pattern of over responsibility she has taken throughout her life, especially as the eldest daughter. Before we dive in, I want to thank my sponsor for today. You've probably heard me talking about Palooza shoes, and I want to talk to you a little more about this. So when you go and look at the shoe, you may be like, oh, that's an interesting looking shoe. And because it separates all the toes, which is great for your feet. They use a technology called 5-toe articulation, which is a separate slot for each of your toes, which allows for the correct dynamic movement of the foot through your walking or running stride. And if you're someone like me who doesn't have great feet, this is really, really important. I've had to work with my feet a lot. Now, when you look at Palooza shoes, they look different because we haven't been conditioned to look at shoes like this. Now, if you look at a glove, you don't think anything of it. You think, oh, a glove. But if all you had ever seen your whole life was a mitten, you would think a glove looks weird. But try to do anything with a mitten, right? You need a glove. Why should your toes be any different? So if you want to give your feet the best in terms of support and longevity, I highly encourage you to check out Palooza shoes. They are best of class in the 5-toe articulation. And when you put on a pair of Paloozas, you're getting an automatic foot strengthening effect, a toe spacer effect, and a healing effect from the damage caused by regular shoes. So I wear them as much as I can, especially when I'm walking, and I've noticed a difference with my feet. So I want you to try a pair of Paloozas with no risk, and you'll realize that these are the most comfortable shoes you've ever worn. They're designed to feel like you're walking barefoot. So visit Palooza, PELUVA.com, and use the code Christine for 10% off your first pair. Again, PELUVA.com, and use the code Christine for $10 off your first pair. And now on to my coaching call with Jessica. Jessica, welcome to the show. How can I help?
Hi, Christine. Thank you so much. So I was saying I'm a little nervous. I actually almost didn't show up for the, or rather, I didn't almost didn't schedule the appointment because I was so nervous. But
Mm,
I really felt in my heart that I needed to speak with somebody and just like really get your expertise. And I know that the work of the collective really begins on an individual level. So I'm here
mm.
and I really appreciate you sharing this reflection with me.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I acknowledge you for saying yes, right? To like edge ourselves past our comfort zone is a big deal.
Hmm.
It's a really
Hmm.
big deal. And it just shows your commitment to your own evolution.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm really going through an evolutionary phase right now. There's a lot of layers, but to get like super laser focused, I have been going through a pretty big transition coming out of a 10-year relationship with someone who's been my best friend and business partner, and also, trying to build my own personal creative career and stay positive and, be in the public image a little bit. And at the same time, watching my mom rapidly decline to Alzheimer's at a very young age. And so it's all like happening really quickly at a time where I just did not think that I was going to have to be facing something like that. But, basically just watching like the two closest relationships in my life kind of dissolve and restructuring who I am outside of these roles. And I feel like I'm carrying a lot of ands, like I'm carrying my own grief. I'm carrying the grief of my, my ex partner, my family, and trying not to one self abandon myself and just like drop everything I need to do and go play hero versus like drop everything and run away and not want to talk
Yeah.
to anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I feel like I'm just like struggling with that capacity to hold space for everyone and myself and still do what I need to do to advance my life.
What do you mean by hold space for everyone? Like, what does that look like for you?
So like I'm the oldest of four and very much like that big sister energy, and I still have a close relationship with everybody, and I can see everybody's perspective. So like just being compassionate to where everybody else is at, and also trying to be compassionate to myself and where I'm at. Did that answer your question?
It answers in terms of like a kind of a general definition, but I'd love to know, like, on a specific action level, what that looks like for you.
I guess I don't know how to describe it besides like I carry this very, maybe heavy is the right word, but
Uh
this like
huh.
overwhelming sense of responsibility and like
Right.
loyalty to the people that I love, and just
Right.
like to do whatever I can to make sure that they don't feel pain. And that has many times in the past caused me to like literally drop everything I was doing. Like when
Mm-hmm.
my mom started going through this, I almost like quit my job
Mm-hmm.
and like was gonna like move in and try to be her
Yeah.
caretaker. And that's just like not possible, especially based on like the relationship that we've had growing up. So I guess that's kind of what it looks like for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay. So holding space is not protecting other people from pain,
sure.
which I know you know rationally, but there's
Right.
such like an identity and a survival pattern and even a trauma response, right? Because oftentimes
Hmm.
how we make things okay is make everybody else okay. We're really doing it for ourselves
For
because
sure.
we don't like our own discomfort. So it sounds to me like this transformation and this evolution, one of the things that you're actually learning is, I mean, I hate to use like a word that's thrown around, we'll break it down even more. You're learning boundaries and you're
For
learning
sure.
the difference between self-honoring choices and codependent choices.
For sure.
And where your opportunity is, well, it's in many things, but it's where the healing opportunity is from my perspective, which you know, and I'm just reflecting it back, is you embodying the freedom of not feeling responsible for making other people okay. Like, imagine if someone you love could be hurting and you didn't rush in to save them or make it better or quit everything. Now, that doesn't mean you just ignore them and fly off to Vegas. It doesn't mean that. What it means is the actual definition of holding space, of like empathy, not sympathy, because sympathy has
Mhm.
judgment in it because we're feeling sorry for someone. Empathy, compassion, and also giving them the dignity of their own suffering.
Right.
And that's going to be the edge for you in so many ways, because when someone you love is suffering, it creates such a feeling of basically not safety inside your nervous
Mhm.
system. It creates such a high alert because at a young age, you decided that was your job and that was your identity, and that's how you made things okay. So there's a younger part of you and a protective part that's formed in front of that, that as soon as somebody's not okay, it's like a default program goes to, I need to rush in and make it okay. That's the only way I'm going to feel better.
For sure.
And so, as you know, and again, just reflecting it back to you, you've got yourself in this bind, like a catch 22, because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you go and
Mhm.
rush in and help, you're exhausted and depleted. But if you don't, you feel the guilt and the panic and the anxiety around,
Mhm.
their suffering.
Yeah.
So when you,
Yeah, so I think that's like really the space that I'm trying to move through is like I'm aware that that like protector piece in me is, wanting to rush and save the day, and at the same time like I know that's what it is, and I'm just like, yeah, like how do I don't know what my question is exactly. Maybe like how do I just move through that without constantly needing to talk myself off the edge and just like keep moving forward with the clarity of knowing who I am and knowing what my purpose is.
well, part of you does know that, right? From my perspective, this is because you've got a strong protector part that thinks that's what you have to do. So you're compelled to do it. So when you're saying talking yourself out of it, I think you make more progress if you actually spoke to the specific part,
Hmm.
because it's not all of you. And when you can help that part of you understand, actually this isn't our responsibility. This is where, I mean, how much inner child work have you done?
I would say quite a bit, not
Mm-hmm.
so much around this particular protector piece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't, I guess not as much as like some other areas, but yeah, like over the last 18 months, whenever like all of this started happening, that's kind of when I really started talking to my little girl and being like,
Yeah.
listen, like, I'm here for you. I'm not here for anybody else. Like, I'm going to be the one to step in and protect you this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's easy to lose sight of.
Well, yeah, because right
Yeah.
now it's a subconscious program, right?
Yeah.
It's a program. So as soon as you feel, what's your somatic indicator that that part is activated? Do you feel anxiety in your chest? Do you feel nauseousness in your belly? Like, what happens physically for you?
Big time anxiety in my chest, like fire.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So
Hmm.
when you feel that, you can put your hand on your chest and go, oh, okay, I've time traveled.
Mm.
Okay, I've time traveled. Of course, I'm feeling anxiety. Part of me feels like I'm 12, and the only way I'm going to feel safe is if I keep the peace, or whatever your words are, right? I'm just putting
Hmm.
some words on it.
Hmm.
Like, of course, I'm feeling this way. This makes so much sense. And I love how you're talking to that younger part of you. I would add in, like, really acknowledging what she's feeling. I know you really think it's your job to go help mom. I really get that. I know how much you really, really want to. So let's do this. Let's put on a meditation and send her love.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's finding ways to not go cold turkey, because it's hard
Mm.
for us to do such a big swing, to go from that kind of codependent merging pattern, responsibility for other people, that eldest daughter overfunctioner that you've been for so long to, I'm just going to make self-honoring choices and take care of myself. It's a really big swing.
I've made the swing a few times. It's
But
funny.
has the
Yeah.
swing been to the opposite?
To the opposite, meaning like
The same
totally doing.
signs of a unhealth, the same side of a dysfunctional coin.
I mean, it depends who you ask, maybe. I think it's been healthy for me in a lot of ways because it just gave me that distance that I needed to like
Yeah.
really create the clarity in my headspace. But yeah, I think now I'm just like, no, in ways it wasn't healthy,
Yeah.
specifically for me because I do like to be close to the people that I
Yeah.
love, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the opposite would be from going from having, no boundaries to basically barriers and just leaving because that's
Hmm.
kind of the only thing you can do, right? It's either you're enmeshed or you're totally out.
Right.
And when I'm talking about the big jump, I'm talking more about the jump on like the healthy scale. Not that
Yeah, I'm trying to find that balance.
yeah, not that what you did wasn't healthy. I don't want to label it that way. It was what you needed to happen because it was the only way you could breathe.
Hmm.
So I don't want to like say healthy, not healthy, but
For sure.
it's more about that way wasn't sustainable.
It
So what
definitely
is
was not a long-term thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what is this sustainable way? And it's like the gradual instead of the big swing, it's the gradual daily shift. So instead of talking theoretically about this, let's use a real example from your life. Where's an area specifically that you feel really pulled right now that this pattern of caretaking is active in?
The biggest area is my mom's
Mhm.
situation right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a
Yeah.
really hard situation because it's like you're grieving your mom at the same time you're trying to take care of
Yeah.
her. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a really really hard situation.
And it's
So,
like it's so out of my control too. Like,
mhm,
yeah. Like
mhm.
financially, time-wise, physically. Yeah.
Yeah, which is scary
Yeah.
and which can make our grip feel even graspier.
Right.
So when you're in your like most present day self, the part of you that's done the most work, that has the most access to your spirituality, to your higher consciousness, to your knowing. When you're in that part, what is one thing you see yourself doing, thinking, or feeling that probably is reinforcing the pattern rather than helping you break free of it?
One thing that I'm currently doing that's reinforcing the pattern,
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to say because, like, I don't have a ton of contact with my mother. It's almost strange to be feeling so strongly for her. And I feel like the worry is probably the biggest. You know what? The biggest thing is like me putting myself in her shoes.
Hmm.
Like that's where my mind goes. It's like, how would I feel as a mother? How, like understanding that she just did the best job that she could and yada yada. And,
Hmm.
she didn't necessarily ask to be in this situation, but, just thinking of how she's feeling
What
is
do you
really
believe?
what pulls me in.
What do you believe she's feeling or thinking?
I think she's scared. I think she's frustrated. And those are the two biggest things because she's told me that like before she started getting to a point where she can't like vocalize as much. But yeah, she was really like kind of putting it on me, to be her protector, which is, I guess, not surprising that I feel this way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and and at the time when it wasn't that bad, I was like, okay, that totally makes sense. I'll do whatever I need to do. And then it all just happened so quickly and started unraveling so quickly that I'm just like, this literally isn't. It's out of my control. I can't.
So, what is in your control?
What is in my control with her situation?
Hmm.
Absolutely not. Absolutely nothing.
Not true.
um, you know,
Not
With how
100% true.
okay.
It's the worry and it's
Mm-hmm.
the
My relation.
projection.
Mm-hmm.
And empaths are real good at putting ourselves in other people's shoes, so much
Mm-hmm.
so that we potentially feel suffering that they're not. Who knows?
Right.
So, one of the things that you do have control over, you don't have control over her health, right? You don't have control over all the things you've mentioned, but you do have control over how much energetic real estate you allow it to take in your
For
mind.
sure. For sure.
And this is why worry is so addicting for people that are wired like you and like me in so many ways, is that because worry and love are very intertwined. When we have a relationship to control of like we want to know, we want to control, we're great at worst case scenario thinking, like we just feel better when we know things and everything's under control. It's like the nervous system can relax. And worry is very tied to that because when we don't have control, what we do is worry as a
Mm-hmm.
way to try to anticipate, to try to get control, to try to feel like we're doing something when
For
there's
sure.
so much uncertainty. So, this is a huge opportunity for you to work with that piece when that worry comes up to go, oh, I'm worrying because someone I love is going through something I can't control. I'm not worrying because there's actually something to worry about, because everything I'm worried about is me making up stuff, which is usually true. But I'm worrying
Mm.
because someone I love is going through something I cannot control. What could I do
Yeah.
instead?
Yeah, it's crazy because I wouldn't even like consider myself a warrior,
Mm.
but I apparently I am. hmm Yeah, I think just when it comes to the people that I love.
Yeah. Well, see, I think that
Yeah.
you think that's love,
Yeah.
thinking about someone, putting yourself in their shoes, you know, imagining scenarios, trying to anticipate things. That's all worry,
hmm
which makes so much sense. But here's what you know, your mom has a rapidly increasing disease right now. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. In so many ways, that's all you know. So, what's happening in your mind and body now?
I guess a little relief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like hearing someone affirm that, it's okay to not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that part of you that is so uncomfortable with the discomfort, right? And wants to do something, it's freaking out because it's like, I don't know what to do if I'm not doing something. I don't know what to do if I'm not making it better.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the place to sit in. It's like I can be in this place of not doing anything to make it better. And that back to your initially what you said, the holding space, that is holding space. When we're holding space for someone, we're actually not doing anything to make it better.
Mhm.
Because then we're trying to control the space, not hold it.
For sure. Yeah, I think when I stop the worrying and I just like accept that, this is the way it is, and this is eventually the inevitable outcome will arrive. Like, I, it's really painful. It's
Yeah.
really painful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think the whole like projecting that I'm fine, I'm like the rock, I have it all together. It's just like, yeah, it hits up against that, and just kind of like almost, I don't know, it like almost like closes me into this like lonely little place where I feel like I can't really express any of this to anybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 And when we're so focused on other people's discomfort, we're not as attuned to what we're actually feeling.
Hmm.
And you get to have your feelings about this and your grief. And you might not be the one going through Alzheimer's, but you are, you're having your feelings about it, and those get to matter too. You mentioned earlier everything else that is happening, the loss of a relationship, building your business.
Hmm.
That requires energy.
Right. Yeah.
And based on what we've discussed, you've got some energy leaks. There's a lot of energy going to try to control things that, Jessica, you just can't control.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel that for sure.
And when all that energy is going to things you can't control, there's not energy left for your brand, not
Hmm.
energy left to heal whatever you need to heal about the relationship or potentially call in a new one if that's what you want. There's just not a lot left.
Hmm.
And so I think part of this too is going to be, really like lovingly firm with yourself
Hmm.
of no, this is not where our energy is going to go.
Yeah,
Because as kids, we didn't have that awareness. But as a grown woman, you have it now.
for sure.
And I have
Oh,
a feeling that if I was talking to your mom in her most healthy state, and I said, do you want your oldest daughter sitting around worrying about you and taking her actions based on worry and guilt and fear? Like, would you want that? What do you think your mom would say?
right. I try to remind myself of that. Yeah, and think,
Mhm.
especially like me as a mom too. It's like, would I want that for my child?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not. Yeah.
And this is definitely a both and, Jessica. This isn't, you know, I'm talking to like the present day rational part of you right now. And you can get it cognitively, like you get it.
Right.
And then the patterns will come back. And so when they come back, you greet them with compassion. You greet them with, of course, this is a lifelong thing I'm working on. What's a little
Hmm.
shift I can make in the moment? Because you don't want to greet them with, oh gosh, this again, or oh no, I need to put that out of my mind. That's kind of like expecting too much out of ourselves. That's
Hmm.
unrealistic. When we have that kind of hypervigilant, overfunctioning, fear based pattern of not wanting anything to go wrong, there's a lot of bracing our nervous system goes through. And so if you can imagine, like when you get triggered, or when you're feeling the tension, or when you're feeling the pressure, or whatever it is, whatever the trigger is, you know what they are. If you can actually like relax into it, if you can work on this somatically, if you can be like, oh, of course this is happening. Like that relief you felt a few minutes ago, you can kind of go
Yeah.
into, of course this is happening. This is the lifelong pattern I'm working on. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. This is happening. Because in doing that, you're breaking that pattern of to anything, somebody else's feelings, your own, right? There's like this fast reactivity,
For
any
sure. Yeah.
feeling, any upset of you just being like, I need to do something, right? So if
Oh,
you
yeah.
can
It
practice that,
happens so fast.
yeah, so fast, so fast. But we wouldn't be talking about it if you weren't aware enough to spot it.
For sure.
So if you can just, when it happens, this is the biggest thing you can start with is just soften into it, relax into it, get your body out of the bracing. Because if you can start to do that for yourself, it'll be easier to do that with other people's big feelings. And listen, people we love going through hard stuff, pardon my French, fucking
Hmm.
sucks. It's the
Hmm.
worst. It's not an easy thing. And I'm not saying that, we're just not supposed to feel that. It's more about being mindful of not managing it through our survival patterns because those don't come from love, they come from fear.
For sure. Yeah, you said like these energy leaks. I just like immediately got this image in my head of being like this leaky bucket. and
Yeah.
and it's like and it's it's tricky because it's like when that energy starts leaking, like I'll subconsciously snap into that like overachiever mode and kind of trick myself that I'm overcoming or getting out of that emotional state by doing something completely unrelated,
Right.
to you know. So, and it's weird. It's like that energy leak is just pulling from the thing that I'm doing that I think is completely unrelated anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely have some visuals around that I think will be useful.
Good.
Hmm.
Good. Yeah. And just be gentle with yourself. You're going through a lot right now.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're shifting from I'm having a hard time, I have to fix it for myself and everyone else to, of course, I'm having a hard time, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Because when we're so focused on other people's feelings, we often lose sight of our own needs. And I know you know, I'll just remind you here as we wrap up that your needs matter. And if they're not being met, that bucket's going to leak pretty quick. Thank you, Jessica, for having the courage to get on the call. I'm so glad you did because I know what you shared, so many people resonate with. So many of the things Jessica talked about, especially if you identify as an empath, I'm sure you'll relate to. Loving deeply, feeling other people's pain almost as much, if not more, than your own, feeling that over responsibility to take care of. And many of us get our wires crossed really early on in life and pair love and worry, love and caretaking, even love and fear, love and control together. And I'm always mindful when I coach about this because since we're so programmed, especially as women, to go into over responsibility, codependency, enabling, over functioning, when I talk about not worrying, not taking care of other people's feelings, not putting ourselves last, sometimes it can sound cold or not loving. And it's not that at all. Love and truth go together. And when we're loving at the expense of ourselves, when we're loving from guilt, when we're loving from obligation, when we're loving from fear, control, all those things, it's not really love and it's not really truthful. And so part of the unenmeshing and the untangling from the over responsibility is to relearn and re-embody what love actually is, first with ourselves and then with others, and actually learning and practicing what holding space actually is too, being with someone, loving them, but not taking on their feelings, not taking on the responsibility to make it better. Do we do things for the people we love? Absolutely. Absolutely. We live in an interdependent world. But when our own bucket is drained, when we're exhausted, when we're depleted, what do we really have to give? Is that really coming from love? Or is that coming more from exhaustion and obligation? So much of what's up for Jessica right now is having so much patience and compassion for those patterns. And also not jumping to going into over responsibility as a way to make herself feel better. That's a big growth edge for all of us. Can we sit in the discomfort long enough for it to move through rather than jumping in and trying to fix? Because the jumping in and trying to fix and taking responsibility will give us a short term relief, but it leads to long term exhaustion and burnout. All right, everybody, that's the show for today. Sending you so much love and many blessings. Until next time. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Life Coaching. I hope something you heard today resonated with you and helped you to see yourself with more clarity and compassion. Remember, every shift, no matter how small you think it is part of your healing. If this episode supported you, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving a review. It means the world to me. If you'd like to connect with me, come say hi on Instagram at Christine Hassler. And if you feel called to be coached live on the show, you can apply at christinehassler.com/waitlist. For courses, retreats, and more resources to support your journey, visit christinehassler.com. You're not alone in this journey, and I'm grateful to walk it with you. Until next time.